Hello everyone and welcome to Cabbage Patch Soap. My name is Laura and today I will be making black gold soap. Those are the colors I'll be using, and the top one there was activated charcoal. So here I'm just adding the lye water to the oils. The base oils I'm using are all vegan and organic. I'm just going to blend this together. If you watched any of my previous videos, you might remember a video where I had another soap with similar colors that I tried to layer, but the batter wouldn't thicken. So I'm going to try that again here, and you'll get to see how that turns out. And this is a fragrance oil going in. It has a really nice fragrance. It's a very aristocratic scent. It also has notes of leather and smoky tobacco. Just going to blend that in. Although I need this to thicken, I don't want it to accelerate or move too quickly, so I'm only going to stick blend it a little bit. I have to do this in layers, and I also have to leave it to set up in between layers, so I'm going to only do minimal blending for each of the layers except for the one that I'm working with, so you'll see what I mean when I start to work on that. I'm just making sure that these are roughly even. Alright, now this is the gold going in. I'm just going to mix that in a little bit. When it's mixed into soap, it has a slightly more muted color, but it's typically a sparkly kind of a little bit of a shimmery gold, but in the soap it's a lot more muted down, a lot more matte. We also have a dark brown, and then the charcoal color, which is black. So this is the activated charcoal. I'm just carefully scraping this out. The little containers that I use are biodegradable. And this layer I'm going to have to spend quite a bit of time blending, so I'm going to cut out most of that footage because it took a long time to thicken up. So each layer, before I pour it, I need to thicken it up considerably so that it'll start to firm up before I pour the next layer in. So I'm just using an extra mold here to tilt this mold up so that I can get a slope in the soap. It's going to look really neat. I'm just tapping it to help the soap even out and lay more flat in the mold. I wanted it to get to the corners, so I'm just checking it here. This is after a few minutes of it sitting, and you can see that it started to firm up. So since that layer looks like it's ready, I'm going to go ahead and work on the next one. This is a gold. And you can see how fluid it is still, so I'm going to blend this for a little bit until it thickens. And when it's thick enough, I will add it on top of the black. And just like before, I blended it off to the side a little bit and cut out some of that footage because it is quite long. This did take quite a while to thicken. It was not a fast-moving fragrance, which is good because it gave me plenty of time to work with it. But the downside is it took a lot of blending to get it there. So I'm just going to set this down flat to pour the gold in. And even though that bottom layer is firming up, I'm still going to use this spatula just in case. I don't want there to be any, dents in that soap. I was hoping to keep that slope really smooth. And here I'm just trying to fill in all the way to cover that whole slope. Also, there's only one way that I can cut this so that the slope will be, visible the way I want it to be. So what I'm doing here is I'm just marking the sides of the mold with a little bit of the gold soap so that when I come back later, I'll know which way to cut it. And now I'm going to make some texture on top of that gold. I was hoping that this would show up after I cut the soap, but it did. It gave it some interest. So I went ahead and put some marks in there, some texture. And now I'm going to work with the dark brown. You can see that this brown is still very, very fluid. Now this one I don't have to mix as much as I did with the other two because there's not going to be another layer sitting on top of it. And I don't have any other soap batter, so I don't have to worry about how long this takes to set up. So I'm just going to pour it in after mixing it. I will leave it off to the side to firm up before I texture the top though. And here I'm just tapping it to get out any air bubbles. I'm just doing a little bit more mixing here. I wanted to add as much of the soap as I could to the mix, but as I said, I wanted to texture the top and I didn't want it to take too long, so I was hoping this would help move things along a little bit. And here I'm just piling on the rest of that brown. And now, this is after waiting several minutes for that to firm up. I'm just going to give the top some texture. I'm going to make some rows. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this gold. It's some of that same gold I used on that gold layer and a little bit of the batter. This will help it set up more like soap. It'll look kind of like icing, but it won't be as sparkly as some of my other soaps where the gold on top was really pretty and shimmery like a metallic foil. Instead, this is going to look, it's going to be more matte. It'll still look really nice, but it'll have a different effect. So perhaps you could say this looks a little bit more masculine once it sets up. And I went ahead and cut forward to the end of the drizzle, and here it is up close. And then we'll come back the next day to cut it. And here it is the next day. I'm just going to line this up. I want to make sure I cut it just right. So I'm going to adjust it here. I'm just slicing through. And here's the first one. I was really nervous about this, but it turned out perfect. I really like how that came out. You can see the black on the bottom there, and the gold in the middle, and then the drizzle on the top. It turned out really nice. It looks like a black mountain or a black hill. Or maybe like layers of chocolate or something. These turned out really, really nice. I'm really glad that this works. So this is what I was trying to do with that previous video I was doing. So now that I know that this is going to work, I can try this on some other designs as well, which I may do perhaps in the future. And these look neat when you put them up. They look like mountains. You'll see in a picture that I'll do later with them going the other way, it looks like a giant mountain. If you like these, they will be available February 1st in my shop. I upload videos every Monday and Thursday, so please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel. And thank you for watching. You have a great day.